Hey everyone, welcome back to English Hub. We're so happy to have you here, and today, we're talking about something we all do every single day, giving our opinions.
Exactly. Someone asks you, what do you think? And suddenly, your brain says, please wait. English is loading.
Don't worry, today, we're going to make giving your opinion in English easy, natural, and confident.
Let's start with the easiest one. I think. It's simple, but extremely useful. For example, I think English is easier when you practice every day. Or, I think this movie is really interesting. Or even, I think we should leave early. See, you don't need complicated English to express a good opinion.
Exactly. Start simple. Clear English is better than complicated English. If you want to sound a little more formal, you can say, in my opinion. For example, in my opinion, learning English through conversation is very effective. Or, in my opinion, working from home is more comfortable.
But remember, you don't have to use formal expressions all the time, right? In a casual conversation, I think sounds completely natural.
3. Personally, I think.
Here's another great expression. Personally, I think. This makes it clear that you're talking about your own personal opinion.
Yes. For example, personally, I think mornings are better than nights.
And I disagree.
Oh, here we go. Personally, I think nights are much better. You can relax, watch a movie, and nobody asks you to wake up early.
Fair enough.
4. Here's a very natural expression that native speakers often use. I'd say.
It means something like I think, or I would say.
For example, I'd say this is the best restaurant in town.
Or I'd say learning vocabulary in context is more useful. And it sounds very natural in everyday conversations.
Let us see this quick practice.
Okay, everyone, your turn. Imagine your friend asks, what do you think about learning English? You could say, I think learning English is fun. Or, in my opinion, speaking practice is very important. Or, personally, I think English becomes easier with practice. Or simply, I'd say English is difficult at first, but it gets easier.
Fantastic. And remember, you don't need a perfect opinion.
David, you just need the courage to express it. In part 2, we'll learn how to agree and disagree politely without making the conversation uncomfortable. Keep speaking, keep practicing, and keep growing. Welcome back to part 2. In part 1, we learned how to give our opinions using expressions like, I think, in my opinion, and I'd say.
And now things get more interesting. Because when someone gives an opinion, you have two choices, agree or disagree.
And today, we're going to learn how to do both naturally and politely.
1. How to agree.
Let's start with the easy one. If you agree with someone, you can say, I agree.
Simple.
But you can make it more natural by saying exactly. Absolutely. I totally agree. That's true. I feel the same way.
Let's try a conversation. I think practicing speaking every day is the best way to improve English.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
And I think you should speak even if you make mistakes.
Exactly. Mistakes are part of learning.
See? Very natural.
2. What if you disagree? Now, what happens when you don't agree? You don't want to say you're wrong unless you're trying to end the friendship.
Exactly. Instead, be polite. You can say, I see your point, but this is a fantastic expression because you're showing that you understand the other person's idea even though you have a different opinion. For example, I see your point, but I think studying in the morning is better.
Nice. Another useful expression is, I understand what you mean, but, for example, I understand what you mean, but I think everyone learns differently.
3. I'm not sure I agree. Here's another polite expression. I'm not sure I agree.
It sounds much softer than simply saying I disagree. For example, I think watching movies is the best way to learn English.
Aha, I'm not sure I agree. I think conversations are more useful.
That's perfect. And here's something very important. You don't always have to completely agree or completely disagree. You can agree with part of someone's opinion.
Exactly, try. I agree to some extent, or I agree with you to a point. But,
For example, I agree to some extent, but I think experience is just as important as education.
very natural and mature English.
Let's put everything together. I think working from home is better than working in an office.
I see your point, but I'm not sure I agree.
Oh, why not?
Personally, I think working in an office gives you more opportunities to communicate with people.
Interesting. But I think working from home saves time.
That's true. I agree with you on that.
See what happened? We disagreed, but the conversation stayed friendly and respectful. And that's the goal.
Okay, your turn.
Imagine someone says, learning English is difficult. How would you respond? You could say, I agree. Or, I see your point, but I think it becomes easier with practice. Or, I'm not sure I agree. I think English can be fun when you learn it through conversation. Excellent! And welcome to part 3. We've learned how to give our opinions, how to agree, and how to disagree politely.
Now it's time to put everything together in a real conversation. No more individual expressions. No more isolated examples. Just a natural conversation like two friends talking about everyday life.
And this time, we're going to make it a little longer because the goal is not just to know these expressions. The goal is to actually use them. Let's begin the conversation.
Emma, I have a question for you.
Oh, that sounds dangerous. What is it?
What do you think is the best way to learn English?
Personally, I think speaking every day is one of the best ways to improve.
Really? I agree that speaking is important, but I'd say listening is just as important.
That's true. I agree with you to some extent.
To some extent,
Yes, because if you don't understand what people are saying, it's difficult to have a good conversation.
absolutely. So you think learners should listen a lot?
Exactly. They can listen to podcasts, conversations, movies, or even short videos.
I totally agree, but I think there's one problem.
What's that?
Some learners listen for hours, but they don't actually speak.
That's a very good point.
They understand English, but when someone asks them a question, they suddenly forget everything.
Oh, yes, their English is hiding somewhere.
Exactly. Their vocabulary is there, but their mouth doesn't want to cooperate.
I see your point. That's why I think learners should combine listening and speaking.
Now we're talking.
Giving a different opinion.
But let me ask you something. Do you think grammar is important?
Yes, but I don't think you need to study grammar all day.
I'm not sure I agree completely.
Really?
Yes, I think grammar is important because it helps you understand how sentences work.
That's true. I agree with you on that.
But personally, I think communication should come first. You can learn grammar while you're actually using English.
I agree to some extent.
Look at us. We're disagreeing politely.
Exactly. And nobody is running away.
How to make your opinion stronger?
Here's another important point. When you give an opinion, don't always stop after one sentence.
Yes. Add a reason. Instead of saying, I think reading is useful.
You can't say, I think reading is useful because it helps you learn new vocabulary in context.
Much better. Instead of, I prefer studying at night. Try, I prefer studying at night because it's quieter and I can concentrate better.
Exactly. Your opinion becomes clearer and more interesting. Which means, and it gives the other person something to talk about. The conversation continues.
Here's a simple formula I want everyone to remember. Opinion plus reason plus question.
Let's demonstrate. Let us say, I think traveling is a great way to learn English because you have to communicate with different people. What do you think?
Perfect. Now I can respond. I agree. I think traveling also helps you become more confident. Have you ever traveled to another country? And now we have another question.
And another answer. and another question, and suddenly we've been talking for 10 minutes.
Exactly how natural conversations work.
One more real-life situation. Let's imagine we're talking about smartphones.
Okay,
I'll start. Personally, I think people spend too much time on their phones.
I see your point, but I think smartphones are extremely useful.
That's true. I agree that smartphones are useful, especially for learning.
Exactly. I use my phone to listen to English podcasts and watch educational videos.
That's a good point. But I think people should also take breaks from their phones.
Absolutely, I totally agree with that. How about you? How much time do you spend on your phone every day?
Probably too much.
I knew it.
Okay. Maybe I need a digital vacation.
Maybe your phone needs a vacation from you.
That's even worse.
Before we finish, let's quickly review the expressions from today's lesson.
These examples are more polite and respect way for giving your opinion, I think. In my opinion, personally, I'd say, I feel the same way. That's true. Exactly. Absolutely. I totally agree.
And for disagreeing politely, I see your point, but I understand what you mean, but I'm not sure I agree. I agree to some extent, and remember, disagreeing doesn't mean arguing.
Exactly. You can have a different opinion and still be respectful. Now it's your turn. I'm going to give you 3 questions. Don't just think about the answers. Say them out loud. Question 1. What do you think is the best way to learn English? Try to answer with, I think, then give a reason. Question 2. Do you think people should use their phones less? Start with, personally, I think, then explain why.
After giving your opinion, ask yourself, why do I think that? Then give one reason. And here's the challenge.
Question 3. Is it better to study alone or with other people? Start with, I'd say, then give your reason.
And finally, ask, what do you think?
That's how you turn a short answer into a real conversation.
So, what did we learn today?
We learned how to give opinions naturally, how to agree confidently, how to disagree politely, and most importantly, how to keep a conversation moving.
Remember, you don't need perfect English to express your opinion. Your goal is communication, not perfection.
Thank you so much for learning with us today. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself. We'll see you in the next lesson. Until then, keep your English alive.